You're welcome to News from the States, so we bring you reports on key developments across Nigeria's 36 states. I am Adebanke Odunui, and we begin with Borno State. After years in exile, hundreds of refugees returning from Cameroon are beginning to rebuild their lives in Borno State. The state government says bringing every displaced citizen back home remains one of the biggest dreams of Governor Babagana Zulum's administration, a promise now steadily taking shape. Senior reporter Jesse Tefida reports.
The road back home is not just a stretch of asphalt. It is a bridge between memory and tomorrow. For years, these men, women and children sought refuge in neighboring Cameroon, fleeing the brutal insurgency that tore through their villages. Camps became their shelter, uncertainty their daily companion. But today, the dust rising beneath their feet tells a different story. One of return, resilience, and renewal. Officials say it has long been the central vision of Governor Babagana Zulum that every refugee displaced by insurgency must return with dignity, safety, and support.
Just take a look around Banki. When things were bad, all these people were in Cameroon. Today they are home. To God be the glory. And we thank our government. You could credit the Borno State government for resettlement. We have returned everybody back to 27 of our local government. Prior to insurgency, how many did we have? Today, every local government headquarters has people and government functioning and authorities.
Beyond the symbolism, the rebuilding has begun. Men are already engaged in handiwork, their hands busy crafting. It is labor, yes, but it is also therapy. Each stitching grass fitted into place feels like stitching torn history back together. Women gather in small clusters, discussing farming plans and petty trade. For many across the state, this repatriation is more than logistics. It is restoration to identity, belonging, and the quiet pride of sleeping under one's own roof. The journey ahead may still demand patience and perseverance, but for the first time in years, the future of the returnees is unfolding on a familiar ground. Jesse Tefida, TVC News, Maiduguri.
Senior reporter Jesse Tefida joins me now to give us more details on this development. Jesse, take us through the scale of this latest repatriation exercise. How many refugees or returnees have arrived and from which parts of Cameroon?
Well, thank you very much. First things first, let's bring our viewers up to speed on this repatriation exercise. Last year, around December 8th, the governor went to Cameroon to go and see how the refugees are doing in Minao camp, that is the far north region of Cameroon. And when he went there, there are agitations, there are yearnings from people that are living there for, 10 years and some over 10 years. They say they really want to come back home because they've spent a lot of years, in IDP camp there as refugees in a foreign land. And from the stories they've been hearing from people in Nigeria is that peace is gradually returning and most of their communities are being liberated. So they made a call to the governor that they really want to, come back to Nigeria, to start a new life. Now, according to them, home is home, however it is, it's more than living in a foreign country. Now, the governor is now told them and assured them that he's going to work closely with the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons, together with the UNHCR, who is a United Nations body, taking care of these refugees. Now, after that, around January 20th, we went together with the chairman of the repatriation committee, Lawan Wakilbe, to see how many people are willing now to come back, how many people have shown willingness, told the UNHCR that yes, they would really want to come back to Nigeria. And they found out that over 3,000 people, approximately 3,122 persons are willing to come back home. These are people from Goza local government area, people from Bama who are resettling, in Banki. Now, the government worked closely with the federal government and the UNHCR, and these people are being repatriated batch, by batch. First, it was to Pulka, which is Goza local council area, whereby the people are being resettled there. And then secondly, to Bama. So there are, over 4 convoys from Cameroon down to Nigeria. And just as you've seen, life is back.
Okay, so in your report, and also you described some things of returnees already engaging in handwork and farming discussions. How prepared are these communities economically to sustain themselves? And honestly, how are local host communities responding to the influx of these returnees?
There has been large preparations before these refugees are being brought back. As you can see from the package, government has built houses to these returnees so that as they're coming back, they would start picking up pieces of their lives. And communities are, eager to see their families. You can, imagine your family member being away in exile for over 10 years. And now that they are coming back, the communities welcomed them, with open arms. They were happy. Some of them, you could see the emotions, tears flowing freely from their faces, just because they've seen people they've not seen in years, and now they're back to their communities. First things first, the government has supported them with cash assistance, with food, non-food items to see how they can, start up the pieces of their lives. You can see from the clips there, already people are picking up the pieces of their lives. You can see the women, frying baked beans, because some of them are of, traders before they left the country to Cameroon because of insurgency. And some of the men are farmers, some of the women are farmers. And as we've mentioned, they're already discussing, plans on how they could go back to their farmland. And you could see the men, spring up their businesses to see that life is back. Of course, it's going to be a little bit hard for them, the mixed emotions and whatever, but the life is back, and we could see it from their faces, and a lot of them are really happy.
Senior reporter Jesse Tafida, thank you for joining us.